We have been talking about the role of a data fiduciary with respect to the Indian DPDP Act. Today we will talk about the significant data fiduciary as well, who has slightly more advanced role as compared to a data fiduciary. They have additional responsibility as well, and they are categorized that for a special reason. Welcome to my YouTube channel where you daily see new content on data privacy. And as I said, today we are going to talk about the role, the obligations of significant data fiduciary. We will touch base on a few definitions quickly. Data, personal data, it's some unique piece of information, a single piece or multiples that help identify an individual. Why I said multiples is because you can say name is for a person, but the name could be common in multiple people. But a combination of name and address, and for sure name and email address and name and phone number is going to be a unique combination, and therefore we call it as personal data in combination in the case of the name. If this data is sensitive, why does data become sensitive? Data becomes sensitive when it's a kind of data which, if it is breached, hacked, then there could be a harm to the individual. My biometrics, if someone else uses them, it's a big harm to me. What about my financials? If someone else starts doing my credit card transactions, it's a big harm to me. So the category of data is called as sensitive personal data, and that's handled with more cautions when we talk of data privacy and processing. And when it comes to processing, then under DPDP Act it says if you are collecting, storing, using, disclosing or destroying any personal information of a citizen of India in digitized form, while collection could be manual, but if it is put into digital form, then you are processing the data and then you are liable to be compliant with the DPDP Act and follow all the compliance standards of the DPDP Act. So that's the definition of processing of data in case of the Indian DPDP Act. The process of data has to be specific, explicit and with a legitimate purpose, right? Either you have taken a consent or if there is a legal reason why you need to process someone's personal information. Then you have data principle, the person whose information you have collected, processed, right? The individual to whom it belongs, his name, his address, his phone number, his bank details. If it's a child less than 18 years, he is a guardian or a parent till he becomes 18. If a person with disability, then he also has a guardian appointed as a lawful guardian, and the lawful guardian is going to take consent and other things on his behalf. Then other terminologies include a fiduciary, the organization who actually does one of these processings, right? It's collecting, it is processing, it is sharing with third parties. So that organization is called fiduciary, and it comes to sharing with third parties or even processing, you need a consent, right? You need a consent, that's where we said explicit. You need to ask me, you need to take a written consent from me by explaining me the exact purpose of what and how you're going to do with my personal data. What is the mechanism of processing? Who is responsible for processing? Some fiduciaries may not process data themselves, they may transfer it to a third party who is involved only in processing, and they are called processors. The ownership is shared depending on the kind of contract, but primarily because the data is collected for the fiduciary, it's fiduciary's ownership. Then we come on to significant data fiduciary, right? Significant data fiduciary is the term given to organizations that process large volumes of data and sensitive data. The risk to the principal, if in case there is a breach to the data, is higher than just losing a name and address, right? For example, I said biometric, if someone else uses my biometric, it's all gone. Healthcare, if someone uses my healthcare record and spreads rumor about my healthcare, etc., many ways of misusing healthcare information of an individual, then there's a risk to me, right? So significant data fiduciaries are the ones who are handling this kind of sensitive data in large volumes, and and also data that has potential impact on the integrity of our country, any kind of data that has a role with the electoral democracy and the security of the nation. So in case an organization is processing any data related to the electoral policies or security of the country, integrity of the country, then that organization is also not just data fiduciary, it becomes significant data fiduciary, and also any data that is required to maintain the law and order in the country, then also it's a significant fiduciary. So high volume, sensitive, law and order, government interest, democracy of the country, integrity and security of the country, anyone who processes these categories of data, they become significant data fiduciary, and therefore their obligations, most important, they need to appoint an in-house data protection officer. He is the one who is going to represent the organization to the outside world. Has to be based in India, has to be responsible and answerable to the board of directors, has to be the right point of contact for any grievance redressal that is required and comes up during the course of handling the privacy of the people, and he is also supposed to appoint an external auditor. So while he himself is supposed to do a lot of audits internally of the processes, he is also required to appoint an external auditor who can help him with those things or who can certify that his conducted audits are as per the compliance and breach protection needs. His duties or duties of a significant data fiduciary are all the same as a normal fiduciary? No, there are add-ons. What are the add-ons? He has to perform periodic internal audits, manage and be a point of contact for the grievance redressal system, be responsible to the board of directors, measures prescribed in the Act. We are awaiting the rules. There will be some extra things that we are expecting significant data fiduciary to do. But even by current this thing, he is the one who is responsible for audits and representation outside the organization as well as to the board of directors. When I say outside the organization, to the data principal, to the grievance redressal system as well as to the regulators. And he is supposed to be the one who should conduct the periodic data protection and pattern assessments. That's about the role, functions, responsibilities of a significant data fiduciary. I hope you like the content of my video. Please press the bell and the like icon. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and share your feedback in the comment section. Thank you.